So here we are with the mold. It's all flipped upside down and bolted back together. I sanded it all. Typically, if your plug is perfect, you wouldn't sand it. If you're looking for that like perfectly shiny finish. I'm not, it doesn't really matter to me. The whole car is gonna get scuff sanded anyways and get painted, obviously. So there's obviously a lot of work to do even when it comes out of the mold. So I don't care. What I really want is just a consistent finish. So, I'm gonna try, so where all my joints are, obviously there's a small little crack or a gap like I talked about in earlier videos. So I'm gonna try some of my kids' modeling clay and fill that and see how that does. If it doesn't work, or if I don't like kind of how it's looking, what I'll do is I'll wax it. I'll wax those areas and then use DAP again, kind of like I did for the mold. But we're gonna try this colorful modeling clay and see what happens. I have no idea how this is gonna work, so, or if it'll work. Maybe. Might be a slow process. Try it with this one. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe. This is probably the wrong little putty knife to be using for this. I think I need something that's hard metal, but also flexible. Or maybe my finger, I don't know. Nice thing is the stuff doesn't dry, so I can just cake it in there and pick it out if I need to. Well, that's not terrible. Maybe this edge. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I might have figured it out. That might be the way to go. The reason I'm doing this is to seal that joint. To seal the joint, and also it's making the molds kind of one piece again. So instead of it having seams everywhere, you'd recognize this if you look at, like, let's say like a McDonald's toy. If you look at a toy from McDonald's and look at it really closely, you can see where it's got little lines in it where the molds have been split, or how the molds come apart after they injection mold it. So when you see those little tiny lines on stuff like plastic toys or whatever, is a really easy one to see them in. That's what you're looking at essentially, is you're looking at this exact scenario of how they had that toy come out of the mold.
Okay, so I filled all my flanges with my kids' modeling clay. They're gonna wake up in the morning and be like, "Where's all our clay?" And then be mad that I use it all. But anyway, so now I'm waxing everything. I've got most of the car waxed, and so just doing the back now. Another nice thing about sanding, having sanded this thing, is obviously you can tell, like you can see where the wax is. So I can see that I'm getting a nice heavy even coat. And then I'll let this dry or harden overnight. And then tomorrow evening I'll spray this whole thing with PVA. I have this thing waxed now. You can't really tell. So let's see here. You can kind of see the color change there. It's waxed with 2 layers of wax. The wax is dry. And now I'm ready to spray PVA on this. Before I do, I'll show you this. So you can see in my flanges here how I packed in modeling clay or plasticine. You can see that in the black, and then the purple and blue and whatever other colors my kids had. Nice thing about it is I can use it in certain areas like that to build it up and kind of float it in. So this should be really good to go now. All my joints feel really nice and smooth. There's no like harsh edges or steps in my joints. So I'm gonna PVA this thing tonight, get a coat on, and then I'll PVA it again in the morning. And then I have a friend coming over because this is gonna take 2 sets of hands probably. And we're gonna mix epoxy and play with carbon. I want to spray this on fairly light because I don't want any runs. It's one thing to have runs in the mold and then I can fix them with Bondo and stuff later, but I don't want any runs in this because they'll translate into the carbon. So here we go. Okay, so this morning, it's Saturday morning, I'm gonna put the carbon on the mold and hopefully this works out. I'm doing this a little differently than I did the shark nose. I've got a little bit different of carbon. This is a 12K 2x2 twill. It's quite a bit heavier of a weave than you're probably used to seeing in a 3K. And I'm using epoxy this time, not vinyl ester. So this mixes a little differently. It's a little bit thicker. I've never used it before. I've done a little bit of testing, but that'll be different. Obviously a much bigger mold than before. And because this epoxy gets, as it cures, after 24 hours, it has a bit of a wax inside it that'll rise to the top. So I can't just, unlike vinyl ester, I can't just do this and then wait, till tomorrow evening or whatever, and then do another layer, and then wait till the next day and do another layer. I can't do that. This stuff has to get done within 24 hours between layers so that that wax doesn't rise to the top. Otherwise, I have to sand it. So I'm gonna try and do this today in a continuous layup with 3 layers. And so I've got a couple different hands helping me today. I've got my friend James here, JCK Photograph on Instagram. This takes more than just 1 pair of hands. So we're gonna do this kind of unconventionally. Those who know carbon are gonna look at us and probably shake their heads. Again, this whole channel is about figuring it out and doing it on the budget and just kind of scraping along. So this stuff, I have a slow hardener and a fast hardener. One of them has about a 20-minute open time, similar to fiberglass resin. The other has a 5-hour open time. Obviously that is a long time, I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is mix them together so that I calculated to about 2 hours and 45 minutes open time or working time with it. And then it still has about a 4-hour cure time. So that gives me lots of time to work with it, lots of pot life. No matter what, with this resin, I have to mix, or with this epoxy, I have to mix it 100 parts to 43 to 45 by volume. So about 100 to 50, or 1 to half or whatever. So unlike fiberglass resin, it has to be pretty much bang on. I should be doing this by weight, but I'm going to do it by volume, and it'll still work out fine. But unlike fiberglass resin, you can't just wing it and give yourself a hour open time or 20-minute open time. It has to be banging. So we have to measure stuff. I'm going to measure in these, mix in this bucket, and then we'll pour it into these, and we can use rollers and stuff. I don't think this melts foam rollers. Fiberglass resin and vinyl ester will. I don't think this does. I've heard that. I guess we'll find out. If it melts the rollers, well, I guess we have 2.5 hours to run to Home Depot and get different rollers. Okay, so for this, I'm just gonna do the chin right now before we get overzealous and mix a whole buttload. So I'm gonna mix 4 ounces. This is actually probably quite a bit, but for now, let's go. You can see how thick it is. So we're gonna go 4 ounces of resin.
Sheet thick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like liquid honey is about the thickness of it.
Don't put it on your toast.
Yeah, don't put it on your toast. Although I bet this is not as bad for you as vinyl ester is.
Yeah.
Nice thing about this is it has no smell to it. So, unlike other actual resins, it doesn't smell. So we have the garage door open a little bit, of course, because that's just smart, but we don't need to like fully mask up for this, which is nice. If I were doing production, I probably would, but today we will not. We got a towel there for some mess. Okay, so we got 4 ounces of that. Now, I want just under 2 ounces of the fast and just under 2 ounces of the slow. Or sorry, we want just under 1 ounce. My bad, don't let me screw that up. This stuff is also a little thick. This is what? This is the fast. We'll go there.
Just make sure it's perfect before you put it on.
Yeah, we're
Good.
again, you have a tiny bit of range here. Again, it's just not like.
That one is very deceptive.
It is deceptive, isn't it? Yeah, I wish I had more of these. Okay, we're gonna go there.
Yeah, you're good.
Go ahead and pour that in. I've got a stick over there. We'll scrape that out.
Okay.
We'll scrape yours out. Mine's a little thinner, so it's fine. Okay, so this, yeah, so then we're gonna mix it with this. I'm keeping all my sticks separate so that nothing gets contaminated before this step. It is a little thick, so it does take some mixing. Again, like fiberglass resin or vinyl ester.
Teeny drop on
Yeah, let's see if these melt. It shouldn't, but let's see what happens. Soak it in there.
They'll actually soak up for a bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna do, so what you're looking at is the chin here. This is the chin of the car.
Double chin.
Double chin. So what we're gonna do, I'm not gonna do it this way on the rest of the car, but on this one, because it's upside down, I'm gonna roll this with the resin or with the epoxy so that I can stick it to it like a sticker. The rest of it we're gonna lay out dry and then soak it. With the carbon is sitting like this. I don't know if that makes sense. The roll is not perfectly straight. So I have, it's kind of curving like this. So because if I just randomly cut that and I'm going through kind of verticals and horizontals with my cutting, it's gonna fray everywhere and I'm gonna have a real mess of carbon pieces freaking everywhere. So what you can do is here, if I decide what length I want here, so let's say about 1 foot and a bit, I can grab one of these and pull that string out, and that gives me a perfect line straight down to know where to cut this. See that? Oops. Oh boy. I should actually be taping this, but because this is a rather loose twill, if I tape it, I gotta get that tape off, which is gonna cause a lot of pulling. Am I still on my line there?
So, yeah. You're perfect.
It's hard to see.
No, you're perfect.
Now we're going this way, right?
You got it.
Okay,
Boom.
so now. So it's gonna wanna pull apart like this and make a disastrous mess. I'm just gonna pull one out of there. If I were to just cut that randomly straight, I would have tons and tons and tons of this. Just tons of them, and it would be a nightmare.
How do you know that?
Well, there's a reason I used Biax on the last car. Okay, so we wet this out, and we've stuck that on kind of like a sticker. It's gonna want to fall. This is a test. This is why I'm doing this first. If it turns into a major fail, at least we're not like covered in resin everywhere else. Or epoxy. I keep calling it resin. There you go. Okay, so now take your roller and basically wet that out. Wet the whole thing out. This is what I was talking about. See all these short strands? We had to cut that. I made it too long, so it was hanging way over in this area and then sagging down. So I had to cut it, and we just cut it randomly. And you can see all the short hairs and stuff. We'll have to blow this out as we go. And don't be shy with that. So to get the bubbles out of it, basically you're doing that, get it all stuck, and then we're gonna go again and just like roll it, rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it. Okay?
I'm just trying to make sure it's not pulling. So
Yeah, it won't really, it shouldn't really pull with that. Yeah. And because it's twill, it'll take your crazy curves and stuff nicely. It's recording. Okay, what was I doing? I was gonna cut that off for you, right?
Yeah, cut the carpet open.
So it's going well so far. Here, see this? See how it's sagging there?
Yeah, I know, I keep hitting it and it keeps coming down.
If we need to tape it up, we can. So it's going good. Kind of just learning as we go. Wet me out to here, James.
You got it?
Like, carry on. Wet me out like, yeah. Wet me out like right to here, just so it's not pulling dry. Bring it like right to the.
Yeah, I will. I just don't want to way overdo it and have the
Oh,
towel
see, I
lay
love
over
that.
resin.
See, I love that. As long as it's not running, like, I'm down. See, I just don't like this. See how it lifts? Whereas, like, before it gets through, I just don't want to have a surprise where.
Oh, because I'm steamrolling this whole thing.
Yeah,
out,
okay.
so it's.
And when we're done, like, an area, like, we'll steamroll it again.
I kind of went against my process here. Though.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, I
No, we're fine.
wetted below where I was.
Oh, that's
It's fine. It's
That's
gonna,
fine. As long as I got this right
It's
here.
gonna roll out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sopping.
Okay, there you
Look at that.
go. Yeah, that's how I want it.
When it's so consistent here.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then
Yeah,
little
that
cut-offs like this, I'm gonna save. We're getting there. It's not as easy as it looks.
Oh no.
Well, mostly because it's twill, so it's always pulling and
But
whatever.
that being said, it's actually somewhat easier than it looks
Yeah.
when it's
Yeah.
gonna be done.
Yeah, well, and this is the first layer. The first layer really matters. The second layers can be just patched together.
Is your lip stuff holding up there okay?
Yeah, it looks okay. We have a sploogey mess here to clean up. Yeah, looking good. Getting there. It's been, what, an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Not bad. We got 4 sets of hands now, which is good. Whenever you're ready there.
Yep. Yep.
Start the process.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready. Whenever you want.
Hands on it,
Yep.
and then I'll-
You go far to the other side.
And then what we'll do is
Right
we'll
about
just
there.
translate it so it's flat.
Okay, and then I got this.
And then Brandon, you got that. And then keep tilting it. So let Brandon lay that edge down, and Rich, you keep yours from touching.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
let
then-
go where this
And
is.
then you basically do all the
Yep.
contact work.
You just let go.
Hold anything.
Nope. I think we're good for now. Hands loosen, loosen. It's almost hard to look at.
It's hypnotizing.
Wild stuff, eh? Oh, these freaking pockets are gonna be ungodly strong. But let them. The amount of freaking structure that's gonna be in this is gonna be unreal. Can you go down? We kind of worked off to one side, but that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, resin. Go grab your resin.
Okay. Is the bucket grab that? Thanks. I'll mix. Give you what I mixed up.
Oh yeah, I'm happy. Just dump the whole thing. And then cut this right where the tar needs it most. This bitch is looking down for us.
You're gonna do the Challenger in this now and lighten it up by 4,000 pounds.
Right.
Oh, and here's Simon. That's hilarious.
How many people did you ask for help?
I didn't even call Simon.
Oh,
I think he just saw it on Instagram, probably. Probably sees all the cars. Join the party.
How's it going?
Did you hear about Carmen? And
I did.
You
Yeah.
smelled the carbon?
yeah, yeah.
What time is that song?
3.
Very cool.
Okay, thanks.
Just gonna try it. It's very red in here.
Huh?
Very red in
I
here.
know.
It was very red.
Okay.
the whole bunch of
Yeah, see that?
stuff.
I just need some on my
Which one do you
side.
want to use here? This one?
The big one.
This one?
Yeah. You might get a hand getting it. Hold on. I need to wet my side out fully.
Okay.
Where's that resin?
Right here.
Did you wet off your side?
Yeah, I'm all
This
good
one's
on my side.
This one's like 5 feet long, so. I don't know where it's gonna go to, so.
I got pretty much all the way at the inside of the fenders.
Okay.
Should be good. So much it's cool.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take this corner and walk around it. Oh boy. Yes. Are we gonna go like this? Sure. Okay, I want it tucked up in the nose as best we can.
Okay. Might have to go,
Go right there.
progressively forward.
That's fine. Go right there. Right there.
Okay.
Set your back.
Do you want
Yeah.
to go your way a bit? Or
Sure. Yeah, go there.
Or a little extra?
Straighten that a bit. Yeah, good. Oh, I got a bubble. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. Watch out for that. Just oh man. Yeah. Okay. And then your sides here. How are you?
Okay.
Excellent. Oh, come on.
Sound of ripping carpet.
So here we are. This is 2 layers on it. 2.5, I guess, kind of. It is actually a lot of thinking to do this, and a lot of work. It's good to have 2 people. It would be impossible to do with 1 person, I think. 2 people is good. 3 people is better. 4 people was perfect. I had a bunch of friends here today. 1 guy cutting, 1 guy mixing and keeping us up with resin or with epoxy, 1 guy rolling, and me laying the pieces. And it's going great. So I'm gonna do 1 more layer. After this, I need to let this sit for probably 2 hours to start to tack up a bit, and then I'll do the 3rd layer. So this is the 3rd layer, the 3rd coat. So I'm trying to make it nice, obviously. It's already super strong feeling, you can kind of tell. And I'm gonna build up, so this is 3 layers. I'm gonna use a 4th layer on the door areas and the back trunk type, like the engine lid area, just so they have some structure. I have thoroughly ruined my pair of pants by kneeling on this floor.
From the outside this time.
Yes, from the outside this time. Thank you, Rich. You down to me? Got your corners? You're gonna hold it there at the top. And now I'm gonna deal with it, okay? Hold it, nope. Hold it there. Okay, let go with this hand.
Oh, that looks good. It's cleaning up well. Need more epoxy?
Yes, please.
Resin? Add to?
Yep, right here. Go ahead. That's good. Scissors, Dean?
Yeah.
Please.
You see these ones right here?
Yep.
Hold this in.
Here.
These two.
Nope, nope, nope. We're going this way with it.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, that's the one. Got it? Okay, now. Do not set it down. Let me do it. You gotta go high. Lift high on it. That is one. Okay, just keep it high like that. Pulling a little bit there. My bad. Okay, come down with me as I go. Okay. Okay, go ahead and let it go. Drape it. Bring it that way. That's it. Yep, right there. Okay. Good. Nice. Thank you.
It looks so cool.
This is what having awesome friends looks like. A whole bunch of friends came today and gave their time and helped me lay the carbon. I could not have done this on my own. And it turned out awesome. So I'm super excited to demold this. It needs to sit for at least 24 hours. So tonight is Saturday night. I'll leave it till Monday evening probably before I demold it. But it's 3 layers of 24K, or sorry, of 12K. It is gonna be strong as an ox. So there's 4 layers in some specific areas, like the doors, and in this area here, where the engine lid's gonna be. But the rest is 3 layers, and I am super confident with it and super pumped and really happy with how it turned out.